On this week's edition of Just a Walk, thanks, we look back at the Premier sale, focus on some pin hooks, the stallions that are hot and the stallions that are not. We talked about the big structural changes at Kieran, how hot and how long can Bjorn Baker do it for, how well are the Lindsay Park boys going, Zelensky and potentially allegedly a deviated septum, Trump, JD Vance, you name it, we've gone there, and we've had a little talk about the AFL as well. Then we finish with a look ahead to the weekend's racing, not just in Australia, but also in New Zealand. Enjoy. G'day, welcome. Just a Walk, thanks. Episode number 63, brought to you by no one, which is disappointing. I was touring the Oakland's joint, Inglis's Oakland's joint there last week with one Butch Bourne, and the feedback, like they just want the show. How about you get your wallets out and support it, and justify the time we have to put in to provide you guys with some actual independent and interesting content revolving predominantly somewhat around the racing industry, but we're going to get real wide today because we haven't done a podcast for ages. Before we've hit record, Ukraine's been mentioned, Trump's been mentioned, Rob's shaking, he's pacing. We'll get to that at some point. If you do want to get in touch and get around this show and make it a bigger and more consistent show, Jono, @themailbag.com.au. The same place, email if you want to come race a horse with us. We've still got shares available in White Bear, a tried horse purchased off the late great Mike Moroney and headed to Lindsay Park, Euroa. Chances are, you watch anything on racing.com, when it hasn't got Charlotte Littlefield on it, at the end of it, it says, chances are you're about to lose. Well, chances are if you race White Bear with us, you'll win. We've spent $1 million on the digital platform and we've returned about $2 million in prize money. Again, Jono, @themailbag.com.au. Just a Walk, thanks. Episode we don't know, but here we are. Present at this morning's meeting. One, Jay Rayner, the racing manager for Mailbag Bloodstock, the only white Kiwi we trust. Jono, how are ya?
Yep, good, thanks. I've just got an email there that Legio 10's accepted for the valet Michael Moroney at Flemington on Saturday, so looking forward to that.
Wow. Rob Scurry from the sunny, beautiful eastern suburbs of Sydney. We're going to get to you in more detail later on with where you're at mentally with your Trump love, where we're at there. But how are you overall, my man?
Yeah, going well. Second daughter's birthday today. We've got a nice restaurant booked in Kingsford tonight. So just got to have a win today so I can not fake a good mood.
The horses whisper to him. He tells you what they said via the app, themailbag.com.au, to get Rob's stuff directly to your device. Mickey Gannon, podcast number, what for the week, and how are you?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Doing well. First podcast of the week, so...
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Have you been crook?
Yeah, a bit under the weather, but that's good to be here, and just second what you said about Rob's set, get around it, because that's what I'll be doing this afternoon.
And finally, without further ado, the great man, the grey man, he's fired up. He's got opinions and knowledge to drop on us, be it racing, AFL, umpires, you name it. He's got a view. Butch Bourne, welcome back. How are you?
G'day, everyone. Hey, guys. It was a big week out at the Oakland sale yards. Just before we get into that, 55 Group 1 winners, Michael Moroney, 2 countries, 2 stables, and a outstanding human being. So valet Michael Moroney, and it'd be fitting if you could get that horse over the line in the race named after him on Saturday. So we spent a week out there, and just the overwhelming support with everyone asking us when's our next episode. But Just a Walk, thanks. So some shout-outs. Shout-out to Billy Primer, running the cards there, nominations man at Widden Stud. Would like to get on board with sponsorship, but feels we get a little bit edgy. So he he didn't want to stump up the money only to withdraw it the following week. So we've got a battle on our hands there. All the way from Hong Kong, avid listener, David Price Bloodstock. When's the next episode? So we're global. We're going global. The people are talking, right? Everyone wants us. Don't know what for, but we're here. As Jack, we had a great week out there, pounding the pavement, trying to conjure up something in the way of Bloodstock. Now, some interesting notes. We're going to get into the pinhook situation, which is we've been through this before. Wasn't it based on tobacco?
I don't know. And just for anyone playing at home, for the 3 people that aren't in the industry that listen to this show that might buy a horse with us, pin hooking is buying like a foal, a really young horse, at a foal sale or a weanling sale, and then returning that horse to the sales as a yearling or as a ready to runner, and trying to make a return on that horse. So you might pay 20 and try and sell it for 100, things like that.
Yeah. So the top 4 winners were 70,000 into 380,000, 52.5 into. I've got to keep sliding this across. 220,000, 70,000 into 230, and 45,000 into 200,000. They're the top 4. Now, the thing that I get out of the top 4 pinhook results is the fact that it's more like investing in shares. So the Wootton Bassett, Bivouac, Zusain, Ole Kirk. So they bought when the shares were down. The shares are up. Everyone wants a Wootton Bassett, a Bivouac, a Zusain, and Ole Kirk. That's why they made profit on them. So good luck to them. And it definitely was their eye that did it. But there's also a lot of evidence to say the stallions have kicked since they were purchased. So there's a common thread with that. A few other underneath. There's some first season sides like Wooded, who's a son of Wootton Bassett. Too Darn Hot, which we know all about. Deep Field, well, he sort of speaks for himself. And the Autumn Sun gave a little yelp there with one pinhook as well, with a bit of a result. But can't stress highly enough. I've watched it over the years, and if you're lucky enough to buy one by a stallion that happens to kick in between when you buy it and sell it, that's when you get the good results. So, but anyway, good luck. Rob Carlisle, Two Base Farm, the Wootton Bassett, and at the moment, Mick Gannon, as you know, Wodaton, can you give us a bit of positivity around the horse who didn't quite sort of hit the mark the other day?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Rose Hill, 1,100 metres, not the place to be. So we can talk about being 3 wide, maybe potentially 4 wide, no cover for 800 metres. That's probably the first thing we can talk to. The second thing would be the closing sectionals. Now, Jack, I don't have it in front of me. You might have punting form open, but I'm pretty sure it was like the 5th fastest last 800 of the race.
Oh, there was a little bit of Charlie Sheen about it. He really savaged that line.
Apologies, of the meeting. So absolutely nothing to worry about. Draws barrier 5 in what's going to be this is a pretty hot setup here on Saturday. So this Todman, North England Tentris, ran second in a Blue Diamond Tycoon Star that probably arguably wins if you swap a few barriers around and a few run of races there.
Sorry to butt in, but let's be clear. Fucking pisses in. Moral would have won, should have won. Yeah, Written Tycoon's got the best 2-year-old in the country right now. Might face a few issues if we turn up on a heavy track. I'd be surprised if it starts on Saturday, but you boys might have a bit more information there because there's plenty of rain forecast here. Sydney Baywhack goes around. Peloton, the once a slipper favourite, but Watson will be deserved favourite. Go out Saturday morning to Todman, and it will. I won't say it's D-Day, Butch, but I think we'll see the best version of the horse, and you wouldn't want him to fail, would you? But I think he'll win that race.
Just looking at the market at the moment, Mick, they agree they've got him 360 favourite with North England at $10. Now that's a clear and short favourite for the slipper. So everyone's obviously thinking along the same lines. Is there anything else maybe at odds you can just while we're talking about the slipper, is there one out there that's just probably a little bit overs that you wouldn't mind having $1 on at the minute?
Well, I'm sure Jack will
There
agree.
was
Tycoon Star.
the 29th best footballer in the country, according to Kane Corns, had one at 100-1, Gano, Tom
Yeah,
Papley. It's maybe John Sargent trained tricolour silks. There might be two of them even
yeah,
that were luckless on Saturday and will run again and need to win to get into the slipper.
yes. Artistic Venture and Autumn Blonde. Autumn Blonde, I've done work on both these horses. Autumn Blonde, probably not quite there. Artistic Venture for sure can get there. But I just think I've got my general feel on this, and Rob might be able to elaborate, is that the previous weeks, Colts probably not up to it, but Phillies, yes. This week's Colts, yes, but this week's Phillies, no. Moving forward to the slipper, Artistic Venture for sure, but needs to win a race, and then that's a pretty average little setup going into a slipper. So not sure. Not sure if that's how you want to play it. I'd say Tycoon Star, Devil Knight. You probably are you getting any prices on those two horses at the moment? Let's have a look.
Well, I think you're mad to play anything because we might get 100 mils next week, and that will just take out 50 to 60% of the field.
Devil
Cannot
Knight.
win.
Devil Knight could be the one though, by extreme choice. Probably the way that I'd probably lean with that there. With your point there, Rob.
Let's go to you now, Rob. The mounting yard guru of those that you've seen so far parade in Sydney. What's the sort of top three for you on type and style and all the other things that you put into the mix there?
I'm a massive fan of the Wooden Bassets, and I was in a coma after a Peloton went so poorly the other week against Shaggy. I could not believe it. I tried to get Jono to, approach them for $10 million and buy him off the Freedman, because that's what I had him valued at after his win first up when it bolted in that day. So right now what's he worth now? He's probably worth about 300,000, maybe $500,000. But look, he's one of the best I've seen. I love these Wooden Bassets. The other one, West of Swindon, we were on the other day, along with the Bivouac, which to me was a better type than Bivouac. He was always up against Exceedance and Cosmic Choice, and I always preferred those two over Bivouac. Well, the one that won the other day, beating West of Swindon, I think he's some sort of chance. I think the breed handles the track, so that's Baywhacked. Winning form is good form. But yeah, look, everyone loves this Wooderton. I know it ran very well the other day, and it might be too good, and it did run on a sort of softish track, winning, beating nothing. But on type, it's certainly I prefer West of Swindon. I prefer Peloton, the Wooden Bassets, which he's also won too, the Washington, of course. But yeah, look, I'm not as enamoured with him as everyone else is.
Um,
Let's continue that chat, Jack, just to round it out. So a Devil Knight, you're getting around that $26 mark, I think it was at a source. So $34 you can get.
what price is Tycoon Star?
$17. But
I wonder what price it'll be if it goes to Waller. You never know; they might take it off him because it drew a wide gate there in the Blue Diamond. So
we can get to that
just
later.
Get that sort of, get the good vibes again. Superstition sort of stuff. Hayes boys should count themselves lucky, I guess. But it's an exciting horse for me, the best I've seen in Melbourne. Where should we head to now? We want to talk, Butch, mainly about what happened at Premiere. It looked to me from the outside, just doing my best not to look, to be honest. But although the market's soft, the right horses are hard to get at the same time, and they're strong.
Yeah, I thought the day one it was a bit sticky, but that could mean that there was a lot of lesser types through that period of time. Day two appeared stronger, and the right horses on the second session yesterday. Day three was also the right horses made their money. I think they landed on about 79 to 80% clearance, which is not bad really, considering. I think it's about that's about average. If you get 80% sold at a sale, that's pretty good.
What
But
happens? What happens to that 20% of horses not sold? What of that 20%? What's the number that will be raced on with the original vendor, and what percentage do you think will be on English Digital at some point sooner at a ready to run sale?
Yeah, there's probably only two answers to that. It's we rate the horse and we like it and we'll stick the journey. So we'll go down that path, or nobody wants it. It's got issues. We would love to have sold it, but we didn't have the interest around that horse because of whatever particular reason. So it lands in either camp, I think. So it'll be case by case, but generalising, it's either one or the other. It's so different than anything being sold. Some people have unrealistic, views on how much the horse is worth versus the market, and but most people that treat this commercially are pretty good with the way they treat their reserves, etc. So.
Are there any sires outside of Wooden Basset that you think are really popular at the moment that you're surprised by? And are there sires right now that are really, really cold?
Absolutely. When you've said cold, it'd be an understatement to say Russian Revolution needs a horse, a good horse. And we've been saying that for a while. His early figures were good, but he's really been scarce for a good racehorse. Very reactive, the market, Ole Kirk, Bivouac, the Godolphin, who you never know have got what at home. They let one go the other day to win. So that all of a sudden elevates that stallion. Look, the next 6 to 12 months and everyone will know everything about it. The European horses are a bit of a fascination for me. So March Basilica, Pinnaturbo, Palace Pier, three very, very high-class horses, well received by the market. And I think you'll find my prediction will be in another 2 years' time, amongst all those three stallions, there'll be some really nice horses. And that it looks like a good changing trend for me. And these are, aside from Wooden Basset, who was a proven a good side, and is the same now, I'd say that those three will have some impact on our races, especially when they turn 3 and above. I was talking to Andy Mackey from Godolphin the other day, the CEO, general manager, whatever he is, the big fella, and he's very hopeful that Too Darn Hot will come back this year. That's not a yes, that's very hopeful. So he's a very good sire, is well received. Everyone wants one. He's an interesting sire to look at because they've got that European feel to them. Rob Scurry, you've seen a lot of Too Darn Hots in the mounting yard. How do they compare to the Australian sprinters?
They're pretty much a bit like not Extreme Choice. They're pretty much always small, little-looking horses. In saying that, the poster boy broadsiding looked enormous when he came back. He's really beefed up and he's looking like the best type of his year. But yeah, on the whole, I'd peg him to horses that would be advantaged by soft tracks, as they're usually more lightly framed. Good buddy of mine, Adrian at the track, his mate Mike Wood has got a Too Darn Hot going around, I think, in the Riesling. He owns 25% of it, so good luck, Mike. He bought it for not much at all, and he's just watched Too Darn Hot go through the roof in that time. So I'll give you the name of it. I'm just going through it. It hasn't started yet. I think it's called Lady Pankhurst. No, that's not it. Anyway, it trialled the other day and it won. It's in the Riesling. No, Nullarbor Jane. There it is. Nullarbor Jane. It's drawn the outside. Bad luck.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's got a huge stride on it for a 2-year-old. This Nullarbor Jane. It's worth a look. Have you seen the trials, Mick? Nullarbor Jane.
Mute.
Yeah, nice trial. Sorry, lads. Really good trial. And the horse in behind it, Kilman, goes around today in the first, which I've got a bit of an opinion of. So that's at Warwick Farm. So it'll be interesting to see how that horse performs. But yeah, no, right up to it. And I thought John Sargent had a good one last week that just carried on like an absolute pork chop. So it wasn't less, Rob. You might have seen it parade. You're on mute again. So this is a fine tuned podcast.
Yeah, look, I can't remember it, mate. To be honest, yeah. I'll if I go back and look over the field and look at the colours and stuff, I'll be able to do it. But I can't do that on the fly. I'm looking at Nullarbor Jane right now.
No, you're good. Hey, Jack.
Yeah, mate.
Bit of a pivot here, but have you noticed the All Star Mile has 7 runners?
No, I haven't noticed. I was my day is essentially get this done, then wait for the fields to load and just begin the process of mapping Ballarat, Moonee Valley, I think it's Flemington, building the sheets for those 3 meetings, and then saying hello to my kids at some point. But
I know this is a different show, but I know at some stage you used to give full credits out in one of the podcasts you used to do. Full credit to Gary Portelli throwing flying trapeze in there, benchmark 88 rating. He will pick up $40,000 for going around.
It's probably too late to back up Highlands on the 3-day backup, Jono.
Just anything. Just we could have seen any of them around.
Oh, why couldn't Keats go?
They paid a 16th for 10,000.
He's racing Sunday.
Well,
we need Bryce Stanaway to make the field up, Rob.
The food's good too at Flemington, for what Bryce is sort of worried about post-race and pre-race. So they really look after you in there. It's jam-packed. You can't move. But once you do get to the front of the food line as an owner, it's decent stuff. All right, let's talk about the All-Star Mile. Who's in it, Gunner?
Mr. Brightside, Tom Kitten, Light Infantryman, Another Wheel, Flying Trapeze, Rise at Dawn, and a Tissue. I think it's fair to say that Mr. Brightside and Another Wheel have the rest of those covered. Rise at Dawn's a horse I've got plenty of time for, so keen to see how it goes. Carrying the same weight as underweight for age conditions as some of these. Might be up against it, and a Tissue with the Waller polish. Well, who knows? Might run a nice third.
Yeah, I think Rise at Dawn's a very, very progressive, exciting horse, but at level weights is a big, significant setback for him.
He profile like a Mr. Brightside?
Yeah, in a year, though.
Yeah.
Give
it a year.
They've unleashed a couple of really nice horses. And like what Marble Arch did last week against our horse, Just Folk, in the Blamey was fucking unbelievable. You just, the mind boggles, and you shouldn't be, but you are surprised by the just incredibly unintelligent tactical decisions that the 2 Prushka horses made from the wide draws to go forward and run like 14, 15 lengths faster than they've ever gone in their lives. And then all of a sudden they pop. Like, fuck, who would have thought? Let's ride them outside of their usual pattern and significantly harder than ever before and see how that goes as a favourite. But Marble Arch just relished it and now has a fat number next to its name that says, hey, I'm really, really good.
Yeah.
It could have backed up into the All-Star Mile, but it was very hot and very firm there on Saturday at Flemington. They didn't talk about that because it's Flemington. A bit of the sort of PVLs about that, like don't talk about that. The track was great. It was a little bit firm there on Saturday, is my mail and what the numbers sort of say at Flemington. So I think with that run on that track, they can't back that horse up. But I wouldn't be surprised if that horse is very competitive in good races if they can keep it up this prep. Gunner probably comes to your way and races in something like a. Is it a mare? I think it's a mare. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes like Coolmore or something.
Yeah, very, very hard to beat. Butch, what do you see the future of the All-Star Mile with only 7 runners as a Group 1? Is it completely cast or?
It's nowhere near the top of the list for cast Group 1s. Like, what about the Wink Stakes or something? It's like horses first up.
Let's just answer this question, mate.
Righto, Peter.
I think, yeah. Mick's just got back from Las Vegas. And,
yeah, well, he had heaps of room because, there was no one there. Like, honestly, the rugby league, they've done it my
Hang
whole
on.
life. They count arms, not heads, when they do their
Can,
attendance.
can we just go back now? We all know that I'm married to a German woman, and the pronunciation of that animal that I bivouacked at one the other day is bivoct.
Bivac.
Bivoct.
Bivac.
Bivoct. Anyway,
Calm down. We're going to get to Elon Musk later on. Stay calm, Rob.
just just on what Rob was talking about with broadsiding and bivoc, I think someone's given James Cummings some smelling salts. He's come off the canvas with landed a few blows lately, hasn't he?
Well, he needed to. I mean, no one in racing's been more blessed in run in their life, and I think they was operating around 10%. I mean, James must have a little prayer at night and thank God for Kieran because he has been massively underperforming versus market expectation. We see the prize money come, and we see these big, thick boys always climb back up. Waller's flat, Kieran's flat, James Cummings flat. Watch him as the prize money comes.
So
What,
would you
what
say?
about
Would you
Bjorn
say
still flying?
yeah, Björn Baker, Rob, he's pretty hard to get past it and finish, isn't he?
I've never seen anything like it in 25 years in Sydney. This is the deepest purple patch I've ever seen. Every one of his horses performs better than starting price, Jack, to use one of your terms. It doesn't matter what price they are, they will go really well. Even that Swaysive in the last, like on Saturday, $15, no luck and run, still back kicking on. So, yeah, the Bjorn bubble the Bjorn run is unbelievable. Unbelievable. It reminds me a bit of the Freedmans in the early 90s.
It might be a testament to Butch the smaller like focus. He's Warwick Farm only. He doesn't have the satellite stables. He travels them from Warwick Farm. He's got his eye over everything, except obviously for when you're up there and one of the colts got in with the fillies and things like that. But like that was a setback. But apart from that, he's on top of everything, and his horses are running enormous. Is it the smaller focus that he's got?
Well, if you want the pandas to breed, you put them in the same room together, don't you? So
We're going to get to that later on.
we'll get to that later on. Some employment changes. But I was lucky enough when I went to Warwick Farm for my last venture. Björn grabbed me through the tunnel and gave me a tour of what he described as the Taj Mahal. And but that's twofold. He's called it the Taj Mahal, but it was quite funny because I reckon there was about 8 blokes in there with turbans on, which I thought was quite fitting for a Taj Mahal. But no, it's very, very impressive stabling. Very impressive. Yeah, and good luck to him. He's put him on the chopping block, Björn. So and he's going extremely well at the moment. Mick, are you finding a few of Björn's at the moment?
Yeah, just often finding I can't get past them.
Yeah.
I think the challenge that I've had with them is a lot of them have improved 2 lengths, which, when you're basing a lot of the stuff you're doing off data, you're almost a bit behind the 8 ball because you're using previous ratings. So when they come back, you're not there. Then you're worried about, do I trust that number because it was a big first up run? Now you're 2 runs into it and you finally caught up to it. And then it's gone up in grade 2, taken 2 leaps in grade, and now it's probably found its level. So it is a challenge, but he's flying. I think a lot more of his horses are landing more on speed, which changes the map situations up as well. But we can trust it. And looking at his list of horses, everyone's like, "Oh, he's going to fall off." I can't wait to see how well Seppi Magnetica comes back. He's got a few others there as well that are going to be pretty competitive. So I don't think the end of the Bjorn or the Air Bjorn reign is over. I think it'll continue. Obviously, you can't continue winning everything as the better horses come back, but I think you'll still keep winning plenty of races throughout the autumn.
Speaking of rains that are over, lovely segue for me there, Mickey Gannon. Ben Salinger was let go by Kieran Maher, Butch, the CEO, the ex-CEO of, or he resigned, we're not sure actually, of Kieran Maher Racing, potentially after he was, forced to pull a few people in and let them go. A lot of changes at Kieran's. You've got a little bit to do with the joint. What's your read on it, and what are you hearing?
Yeah. So um, first of all, I think we'll introduce Sam Kavanagh to everybody who's the interim CEO. Now, Sam is the son of Brett Kavanagh, racehorse trainer extraordinaire, good fellow, good family. Uh, George and Jack, the whole lot of them. Um, and he would have been seen probably strutting the catwalk around the nightlife of Melbourne and Sydney with my son. So they feature heavily together in the social scene. But Sam, I believe, has done a law degree. So he some might think he just couch surfs, from this place to that, but he's got a bit more depth to him, Sam. And he's a good looking rooster, very intelligent man, and it's typical Kieran. He does put his faith in young people, and we're seeing that with the appointment. I don't know if they're going to do a process. They just announced him as interim CEO, so we'll see. We'll watch this space.
Do you think the cutbacks at Kieran's are a scary thing for the industry as a whole?
I think you need to ask them really what. Yeah, I mean, changes are made on a daily basis. Like next week you could replace me with uh,
With who, mate?
you
Come
could
on.
replace me with Bryce Stanaway.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't know. Wouldn't read too much into it. Let's roll. Let's wait for 6 to 12 months to see. But one would think they're just going to go through the process of the sourcing a new CEO. But at the moment, Sam's in the driver's seat, so he'd be a good man to get on, and we'll put him under the blowtorch.
Mm, that would be great, actually. That's a great idea. Another
Let's see
pearler
if we
from you.
let's. I don't want to promise too much, but we'll see. We'll see if I can inveigle my way into the organisation to get a few words off him.
Maybe
Actually,
one day we could even get your son on. He started to do a bit of sort of post-sale video work, which is an evolution, step in the right direction for us to hopefully get him on.
Yeah, he goes better in front of the camera than me. I was part of some bit of social media
Sale day
viral
snippet.
stuff.
It was a little snippet.
Emma Freeman, what an impressive human being she is. She is
Yeah.
dynamite, I tell you. She's very, very good operator, but don't often get stuck for a word.
Speaking of impressive humans and airborne with Bjorn, um, I wouldn't be surprised if Racing.com has got equity in Hayfield's Racing. Charlotte Littlefield can't put a step wrong at the moment. She's flying. She was very unlucky to run into Jimmy Starr in the Oakley Plate. Her horse went enormous, progressive, right through the grades. She's on everything. She's everywhere you look. If you turn Racing.com on, you'll see her. Her rise to fame has been quick. I was shocked, Butch, to see her on the back of a horse interviewing jockeys post race there on Saturday at Flemington. You wouldn't think she's long for that. She's got a lot of support now. And she's got big numbers coming through.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's probably more so for outsiders. John O, do you get much of the Racing.com feed over in New Zealand, or have you noticed anything outstanding there in their media presentation?
No, we have our own. Like you catch some of the mounting yard, they do, but we have our own sort of tracks. Like Emily Bosson, Opie's ex-wife, she does our stuff mostly, and Jane Ivor's over here now, so ex-racing.com. But no, we have our own stuff, own people.
Tell you what, like honestly, Ash Yagi is very good in the yard on TV. She,
Amy,
what I call
you used her husband's name, Ash.
it? Fuck. Amy Yagi is very, very good TV. She is insightful, honest, forthright in her analysis of the mounting yard and racing.com. She's been a big, like, there's not a lot that I think that's a good ad. She has been great on TV.
Yeah, yeah. She's behind the scenes. She's actually a very good person. So what you see in front of the camera is the same as you get away from that. And it's no surprise to me that a true horse person, would know what they're talking about in the mounting yard.
Hmm. Yep. Now, speaking of people who know what they're talking about, let's pivot right away from that and just get it done, get into it. Something we don't know a lot about, but Rob knows a lot about it, he thinks. Politics. If you don't want to hear about Trump, Zelensky, Putin, Europe,
Trudeau.
Elon, Justin Trudeau, you know, just check the timestamp, John or two, when we're done. Um, what the fuck did we see in the White House the other day? Like, in what world would two leaders, one of the most powerful country in the world, the other one's at war, like, would Winston Churchill be like live streaming his fucking chats at number 10 Downing Street? I don't think so. But Trump is, and it was a fucking shit fight. Rob, what'd you think of it? You probably loved it.
Yeah, I do. I think Zelensky's a con man, coke addict, who, uh, that's
Well,
pretty obvious if you watched him for more than, for the last couple of years.
So you reckon your read is that Zelensky's smacking more packet than JD Vance?
Oh, for sure.
Is that a rig-based selection? Just because if JD was hitting it hard, he wouldn't be so pudgy?
Look, yeah, look, JD just, I think he speaks quite well and makes, he's all about this Trump common sense approach. But look, it was a 40-50 minute live stream, and the same people who sell the weapons own the media coverage that showed you the little bit that got everyone so excited. Um, Look, yeah, that war has to end. That war started like 11, 12 years ago. Sorry to be a Putin apologist, but he made it very, very, very clear that with NATO expanding east, that Ukraine was going to be a problem. That was a red line. Yeah, the war could have been easily avoided, but now we're at the point where Zelensky's got no more cards to play, which is quite a funny because the memes are coming out of that. You might have seen the bit about the cards. You've got no cards, so yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. But look,
What about the fat bloke in the back in the suit, Rob? Like, there's some bloke just yelling. Like, they just sort of, when you're somewhere and someone starts talking shit, so then the next guy bobs up with something, and then all of a sudden they're all just throwing in their 2 cents. Fuck it, well, everyone else is. And he had a crack at Zelensky for not wearing a suit when they all hail a bloke that wears a fucking baseball cap and a black leather jacket and a t-shirt and black jeans and these randomized, they're not sweet, Elon, those boots. Did you find that weird?
One's not a president, mate.
Yeah, look, it was.
Oh, is it?
Probably.
Well, you don't have the title.
It's probably not totally not necessary, but yeah, I would have thought a suit would have been appropriate to go to the Oval Office to meet Trump, who's everyone knows he's big on appearance. That's what he's all about. It's all fucking Trump's.
What did you think then about Elon challenging Jon Stewart to have him on his show unedited, and then John saying, "Sweet mate, you can have 5, 15, 20, you can have 2 hours if you want," and then Elon backing down because Jon Stewart's not bipartisan.
Look, John is the bloke who did literally put a medal on a Ukrainian Nazi. Did actually do that at Disneyland. Yeah, Disneyland. The guy had a Nazi insignia. Look, John, I've got respect for John. He's actually funny, unlike Colbert, and he does have a deeper understanding about things, and he does go left and right, and he's making the point that the Democrats are just going to keep losing until they find some sort of common sense. So yeah, I haven't heard about this debate. I think it would be, I think it'd be It's good, long format, less talking points. I'm all for that kind of stuff. Elon, do I like him? Oh, he's clearly a megalomaniac, but he's obviously very, very talented with all the business success he's had. And do I
He's a
like
good
the idea
father,
of
I think, too.
he's mailing
He's good at
packets to
making them.
people?
He's just not that good at
Yeah,
hanging out with them.
look, he's got 4 companies to
I
run.
wouldn't
Plus,
judge a bloke though. I would not judge a bloke by the way he treats his own children.
No.
That wouldn't be appropriate, would it? That wouldn't be a good guide to character. Do you think Doge will find a way to take any of the Tesla um, grants? Like, will they cut them back at all? Do you reckon?
oh well, again, that was we all got excited about that. Comcast, Rachel Maddow saying, but he got those contracts from Biden. Um, Look, am I enamored with the idea of going to Mars? I think that's a waste of time and money. Um, just trying to look after this planet that we've got. Whether I don't think Elon's in it for more money at the moment. I just think he wants to see America do a bit better because it's been tanking for a while, and things like the Ukraine war has just been a completely pointless exercise. Well, the exercise was to drain Russia's resources, um, but it's turned out to completely backfire on Europe. They blew up the Nord Stream pipeline, which is power to sell American gas. Anyway, now they're not in recession, they're in contraction because we're changing that word around, like a bit like gender affirming care. But let's let's save that one for another day.
So, as you see it right now, where it's evenly poised, anything could happen. It could end up being a really good thing. The chaos that we're all sort of seeing on whatever platform we get it.
Yeah, look, I just want that. My only worry is that now that the Ukraine thing might be over, Trump might turn his attention to China, and Australia could become the next Ukraine. That's my paranoid sort of thoughts because China is the new rising economic power, and that's what a lot of these wars are about.
And they've got a
But
couple of boats
mate,
off the coast of Perth right now. Butch.
The only thing I got out of the whole thing is that Zelensky has a deviated septum.
Well, allegedly.
Allegedly, has a deviated. Now, I want to do
anyway, he'd slot right in. He's Zelensky.
I want to do tight t-shirts and deviated septums. I want to do a straw poll here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to go first. I'll march it on. I believe that romantic warrior. I believe that James McDonald went too soon. Jono, what do you think?
No, perfect ride. Can do no wrong.
Jack?
I only watched it on Twitter. I'm with Jono.
Hey, Butch, I'm with you, mate. Fuck James McDonald. Stuff that right
He's fired up today.
Wow.
Look,
Wow.
look, I'm in the trenches, not like the bloody Ukrainians, but I'm in the trenches in Sydney racing, and it's hard enough with his taxes being put on by PBL and whatever that the markets are that brittle. And then you add James McDonald into the mix where you've got to pay an extra 10-15% on your horse's price as well. It's just doing my head in. So, quicker he nicked off to Hong Kong, the better for me. Off you go, James. On your bike, boy.
Yeah, he went a bit early.
Okay.
Just to clarify, that was in regard to the prices that he's forced to take on James's horses. We love James McDonald.
Yeah.
Always have, always will. Particularly whilst Jono's part of the team, which I hope's forever. AFL now. Fuck. Rob, what price are Hawthorn to miss the 8?
I haven't looked, but I'd say...
Jono, could you look that up, please? AFL wagering top 8 finish, because I want to get fair odds when I wager now against Rob or Butch.
I'm going to say that'd be $3.50, $4, something like that to miss the 8. So, $1.20 to make the 8.
let's give our predicted top four for this season. We'll start with who wants to kick it off. Obviously, Jono will tap out of this. Gano, will you play?
Yeah, why not?
Give us
Always.
your top four, mate, for the AFL this season.
Righto. Sydney Swans, GWS Giants, Brisbane Lions, Carlton.
Oh yeah, righto. Butchie boy,
Yeah, top four.
Into the mic, mate.
Sorry.
Into
into
the
the
mic.
mic, please.
Oh, am I not talking?
It comes through better when you lean in there. Yeah, that's good.
Rightio. For all those playing at home. Well, you've got to put the Sydney Swans in because of the home ground advantage that they get every year. So they'll finish top four. Fremantle have one of the best lists. They'll finish top four. Let's go a little bit wider here. Let's be controversial. Adelaide is one of the big improvers, and Carlton.
I will go Brisbane, Sydney, Fremantle, and Collingwood.
Brisbane, Sydney, Hawthorn, Geelong. You know, people always underestimate Geelong, but a bit like Sydney, they got that weird ground that it's a big advantage. So I'm going to put them in for top four again.
Jono, price?
Who was I doing to miss the top eight? Hawthorn.
Hawthorn.
$3.60.
What about to miss the top four? Is that sort of $2-ish? Flip for the coin.
$1.72.
Rob, we're going to have like a case of, whatever wine you want or on this.
Okay.
But that's even money, isn't it?
Let's do Hawthorn have to finish sixth or better for you to collect. Seventh or worse, I win.
That's terrible, Jack. That is just. Why would you do that to him?
Right.
Well, it's $1.70 top four, so I give you two more.
How many teams in the league?
I don't even know. 18?
Right.
Yep.
Well, then it's got to be above ninth or below ninth.
No. We're getting $2 odds here. It's flip of the coin.
It's got to be top five. Top five.
So top six is like $2 a case for a case. If he wants top nine, then he's going to have to give me like two cases for my one. Rob, how do you want this wager to look?
No, I think if Rob loses, he's got to wear a James McDonald hat for 12 months.
Go, J-Mac.
And Jack, if you lose, you've got to wear a Hawthorn hat every time you do a podcast, especially with Tom Papley. Now that's a real bet. That's proper punting.
Yeah, we'll both be very, very conflicted with that.
For a month.
Yeah, look,
for a month. I'm not wearing that over forever.
All right, I'll send you the 2008 Hawthorn Premiership Guernsey that I've got there. You can wear that on the show. You know.
Don't worry, Rob. I've got 30 or 40 of them in my drawer. So
yeah, I haven't worn mine for a while.
Do you fit in any of them?
Oh wow!
This is going bad.
Wow.
Just for those trying to listen, Jack's in a fit at the moment.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying some.
Hey, Jono, can you give us a quick peek into what's the slot race called over your way?
The NZB Kiwi on Saturday for 3-year-olds over 1,500 metres, 3.5 milli.
That's a lot of money.
Give us your top three selections then.
I think Evaporate will be very hard to beat for the Hayes boys. Was very good there behind Brightside last start. Draws 10, which should be all right for it. McDee's on. I thought that would be very hard to beat. A horse called Safito is going very well over here for Lance O'Sullivan. He's training it, not riding it. And there's a little filly Pivotal 10 that is almost unbeaten from the South Island. Typically, those horses aren't as good as the North Islanders, but draws 12, looks the solo leader. Cambridge Stud bought into half of it during the week. So they've obviously got a good opinion of it. But yeah, it could skip away on the turn and give you a good sight. but Evaporate, very hard to beat. I think it brings the best form. In terms of the Aussies that are here, it's Evaporate, Public Attention, and Perfumist for the Airborne Baker.
Ooh,
So it's a decent race, and we've got Blake Shins here, Mick D's here, Ash Morgan is here for the visiting jockeys. So interesting to get Blake over here on sort of All Star Mile Day. Obviously,
only
this.
7 horses as Gano's rode over 4 times.
Mm,
3 to go.
but yeah, Blake's been given some good rides by Tiakau. He came over to ride in trials and that for Tiakau midweek a couple of months ago. So he's teaming up with them quite a fair bit. So yeah, it should be a good
What
race.
what's ahead for Marburg Bloodstock, John?
Islands today, Sandown, and Legio 10 on Saturday. There are two acceptors at this stage.
Beautiful. All right. Anything else we should go over, guys, before we wrap up our first episode back of Just a Walk? Thanks again. If you want to get around it, sponsor it. Jono, Jon, at themailbag.com.au. Or if you want to race one with us, a tried horse like White Bear, for example, 1 million spent on the digital platform, 2 million returned. Jono, Jono at themailbag.com.au. Anything else we should cover off, boys, before we wrap?
The horse is putting my kids through college. The Doctor of Love. It'll go around again in the New Zealand Derby. Not that big as drawn 12. So we'll just wait. We'll be patient. We'll wait for
D more on, but didn't get a ride in the big race.
One of my favourite horses going around today at Warwick Farm, about 350 in race 7, called Peace Officer. Looks to map beautifully. Second up form's terrific. Can't believe it's $10. Can't believe it.
I think you should have something cool, Jakey, in that race too, Rob. Just be careful of it, all right?
It's a bit of a wet tracker.
Are we tipping
Sun is shining.
horses today when
no one will hear it, but that's okay.
Jono turns these around pretty quick. I'll give you one today. Race 7, number 10, Paula in Sandown, God's Carpet. And then we'll finish with Peter Moody in the last. Race 8, number 14, Hot in Here. Big, fat jock switch. T-lad off, Melamon. That was fucking amazing win at Kilmore on debut. The rail position at Sandown on God's Carpet today is a very fair rail, the 6 metre on the circle. So we pray that Benny Mellon gets it going where it needs to be going, and it repeats the dose that it delivered at Kilmore.
Why don't we? Everyone will hear the Newmarket. Nick Gannon. What about? Can we get the 2 mares that ran well the other day, Benedetta and Stretton Angel? Are they a chance in the Newmarket?
I haven't looked, but just off the top of my head, Benedetta for sure. Well, Jackie, you'd be able to remember those runs. Who had the harder run of the 2?
I think Benedetta was an inferior ground.
Yeah.
But it's a really, really tactical race to assess and sort of trust anything out of it, because there's a real big headwind, so they were getting hammered. That's why sort of like worse in midfield cover was key. It was wet. You're going to get the complete opposite on Saturday. It's going to be dry and fast. It's glorious weather all weekend in Melbourne. And we should just mention too, like if you're listening in Queensland, fuck, we're thinking of you. Good luck. It sounds scary as all hell. Let's hope it doesn't live up to the hype. But Saturday in Melbourne will be really, really good conditions. And yeah, I think it's really interesting. Like even the horse like Growing Empire, so it was badly not suited. Shit itself when asked to accelerate with the blinkers on. Do they run around with the blinkers off this time?
Blinkers off.
I would have gone left. They've gone right every time this horse has prepped, probably since it won at Caulfield. I'm surprised this horse Butch isn't going to the Moonee Valley Group 1 at Wait for Age, where it's run really well before and gets that tactical advantage for its dominance early in a race. But they're headed here. I don't know. Ray Magnerio loves a straight. Is flying. Shripper's in.
Espionage.
Luke Curry's on. It's flying. Yeah, Espionage was really, really good in that race. It was like 5 and 6 wide. Gatsby's runs here. It was in last Saturday in a much softer Inglis $1 million race. It's headed to this race. It's a very good addition of a good race. But yeah, I don't know.
Espionage for me. 322 days went to Caulfield. Best part of its run was the last 100. After looking, if you stop that at the turn, you'd think, oh, Espionage finished last here. It'd be better 12. It finished 4, but kept coming late.
Yep.
Profiles, blinkers on first time, profiles to explode down the straight.
Buenos noches might be first up for Kieran Butch. It's in.
Terribly. Awful trial. Couldn't have it. Just on the stable, if you reckon old mate might have got superstitious somewhere in the last 4 or 5 runs, on Growing Empire. Anyway, they they do them. So it's all like I tell you what, in all, it is D-Day for that horse, isn't it? Really.
I would have,
I'm
yeah.
going here, to be honest, and I'm happy to have egg on my face, but I'm in the same line of thought as Jack. I would have thought the Valley would have been perfect.
But if it comes out and wins, you'll go, oh, it was into that massive wind last start.
Oh, I cop it as I'm wrong, but I'll be very surprised.
Yeah, I think Mr. Brightside will be dominant favourite against another Will in the All Star Mile. A Tissue Wants Rain won't get it. Tom Kitten was completely and utterly blessed last start. Light Infantryman's not as good as these horses. Rise at Dawn was spoken about, and then Gary Portelli's thrown in Flying Trapeze. Billy Egan 3/4 sleeves rides. Treasure the Moment's in the Cooney. It'll be very, very hard to beat. That was a fucking enormous win into that. A little bit of a headwind there at Caulfield last start, first up.
So good, wasn't it? Good horse, that.
That's about it, I reckon.
Was that Billy Egan's first Group 1 winner?
Not sure. Dom Sutton's first one. Won't be his last. He's spent a shitload again through the week.
But I just wanted to touch on Billy Egan, who I've had a lot to do with, the boy from Mansfield, who his post-race interviews said that his old man kicked him up the arse so much his nose bled. So, which would have been not far from the truth. So his uncle was Gerald Egan, and no wonder that Billy Egan's a good horseman. But he just had to learn to ride one forward, didn't he?
It does help, doesn't it? I mean,
yep.
That race was all about positioning run, especially on the track, the way it ended up racing there on Saturday at Flemington when it was real firm.
He just looks like a big, strong on-pace grinder, that horse. So he was the same in the Caulfield Guineas, wasn't he?
Mm.
He's just tough. He's just, there's no sparkle to him, but the other, I thought there was a couple of good runs in the race. I actually wandered down. I was at the races and wandered down. He's very impressive horse, Gold Rush Guru.
Yeah.
Really, really impressive. Like, what an absolute monster of a horse.
I think if she had a time again, or the horse began a little bit better, it settles 2 pairs closer. It goes very close, and that's 2 really good runs this prep from 2 runs it's had off winning the Derby. I'd assume it goes to Sydney and is right in the mix in whatever races there are up there. I assume it's a Derby for it eventually, but it's
Rosehill Guineas.
It stays, but it's sharp enough at the same time, and it puts itself within striking distance almost every time it goes to the races. It's probably just a pair or two too far back there on Saturday.
And I thought the unluckiest horses in the race was our man's horse, Björn Point and Shout. So that was a very, very good effort in that race.
What'd you make of Nandola?
Sorry?
Nandola. What'd you make of it?
Hang on, which one's that?
In the Roulin colours, the pink and
purple.
Like
sort of purple.
Purpley set up.
Hayes horse, Luke Curry Road, wide draw, both starts at Flemington. This prep, it was 3rd up.
Well, the like, as in something wrong is Henline. That there's definitely something like, in the post-race, Mark Zara was very dismissive of the post-race comments. He's just like, no, not something wrong with nothing, not today. Or he's very dismissive, and the horse raced very, very ordinary. He went back on it and just never gave a yelp. So I wouldn't. It was that bad. I would put a pen through it. There's some nice horses. I was very impressed with a horse in the mounting yard called Red Aces. I don't know where that
Nick
fits in
Wright.
with you.
It'll be
Sorry?
headed up with Gold Rush Guru. It'll be on the same plan as it, I'd say.
Yeah, yeah. No, there's some. There's going to be a bit come out of that the race. Sepals, whatever you want to call him.
Didn't suit.
I think I spoke to you, Jack. He looked very immature in the mounting yard, so maybe he's 6 to 12 months off being a finished product.
Yeah, I think he's a proper horse. I think Ndola's a proper horse. I don't think Ndola's a 600-meter horse is my read on it. I thought Luke Curry's ride was way too passive. Martin Harley got the ride on the good Queenslander. He sat 3 wide, no cover the entire, and no one took the initiative to sort of get up his arse and get that cover and be a little bit closer in run. They all kept their 2 wide line. And then Martin actually dropped the whip with 200 to go. So it was a dark day for Martin, but you can forgive that horse. But I thought Nandola was brilliant, like the best run in the CSAs, and then you had to do it again in the Guineas and just sort of peaked. I think maybe 1400 sharp horse. I think that's the big thing out of that sort of those Guineas is there's horses in that race that are trying to get 1600, and there's horses in that race that are trying to be sharp enough for 1600, and they'll end up being 2000 plus horses and 1400 meter horses and a couple of milers. I think was it Southport Tycoon or the Kieran horse won it.
Yeah,
Griff?
yeah,
Is it Griff?
Tycoon. Jono,
Hello.
I'll throw one at you. Savaglee, which ran a
Yep.
very good second, the Kiwi horse. Just a left fielder from me. Not as much work, keep it fresher, run it the following week, not the mile, the 1200 Newmarket up the straight. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was probably our best 3-year-old. Yeah, who knows? It won the 2000 Guineas here in pretty dominant style over a mile. Yeah, no firm opinion. A good horse, but
I just think the Newmarket is just crying out for a lightweighted 3-year-old, and I just thought if I had waited a week, came off that really hot 1400, would have been a great setup for the Newmarket. Jack, Mick, you 4 men, do you remember the Hayes horse? Shock, was it Shock? Head of Shock.
Head of Shock.
Head of Shock. Yeah, that form race would have been a great setup for that horse to come back to a Newmarket. Savaglee and IE Cylinder, In Secret, all those lightweighted 3-year-olds in the Newmarket handicap.
Speaking of setups, Butch, I know we tried to wrap up this podcast 10 minutes ago, but this is just a gift that keeps on giving. Good for the sponsors as well. Mr. Brightside,
JONO.
third up versus another wheel second up, trial 28 days. What would be your preferred setup, I guess, firstly, or who would you be with, all things being equal on Saturday?
Sorry, I was just reading Rob's goodbye message then. So
Hey, Rob.
Rob's gone to Warwick Farm to do the yards, so that's how long we've been going. Just repeat that. Sorry, Mick.
Another wheel second up 28 days trial versus Mr. Brightside third up.
Yeah, I think it suits that horse from what he's a big lean animal. I did see the trial. I'm a big one on looking at those in between trials. I think
Tickovers, Butchie.
Sorry?
We call them tickovers. Had a little tick over.
Yeah, but that's okay. But I think you and I spoke prior to Growing Empire the other day, and I wasn't overly enamoured with that trial. Now, another world trial, well, I think I don't mind the setup. The only thing you worry about, Mick, is if they have the tendencies to over race or something. But I don't think that's not him, is it?
Nah, I think if you're right, barrier 1, Rise at Dawn goes forward, he'll sit leaders back. The last time they had a tick over trial, so to speak, and was 28 days, was in the Doncaster Prelude, and at that point in time, he ran a career peak. So I think it's worked for the horse in the past. So anyone out there might be considering,
It's classic Kieran. He loves a gap between runs. So almost doesn't need the tick over,
yeah,
Moves them around, sends them to finger, whatever he does. It's like it's his profile. Other trainers you don't want more than three weeks between runs, but Kieran's always been sort of more than 3 weeks is a positive. It's
It
weird.
reminds me of the pop gun at the Royal Melbourne Show, trying to hit the ducks. Like I only got about one on every four of them. So trying to uh, trying to find Kieran's horses in the big races is a bit the same because it's just coming from a different form patterns, isn't it?
Mm.
Brightside was going to improve again from the yard from memory, wasn't it, last start in the futurity?
Oh, I think he's like absolutely flying. He's
The people,
versatile.
yeah.
He handles all going. He loves Flemington. Last time he raced this track and trip, he won the Champions Mile. He was like he and Evaporate were comfortably the best runs in the futurity. Is that what it was?
yeah,
The 1400 Group 1 at Caulfield. They both faced the breeze. Evaporate was a worse ride, significantly. Really bad ride, but a really brave run. That's why I think he'll be really hard to beat on Saturday in New Zealand. And Mr. Brightside had no favours at all, and he was almost done by horses that had the perfect runs. Um,
And
I'm
he still
surprised
wasn't
I wish I Win's not going to this race, to be honest, because they would have begged it to run. Um, but I reckon maybe Butch, there's something in the horse now where at the 400 he was winning the futurity and he didn't sort of go on with it quick enough to get there and beat Mr. Brightside. So, yeah, the yard report is that Brightside's got condition to come. He couldn't have done any more so far. He towed another wheel in first up and gave it the sit. The barriers will come out while we're doing this probably, and that'll be key to sort of where they are and run. I reckon this race lacks tempo on paper, Gunno. You'd have to say that. And it'll be interesting the dynamics map wise, but it'll be a good race. But Brightside's got to be favourite.
yeah, love it.
Yeah, you've got to say that the Lindsay Park, the stable's going super at the moment.
Oh, they're right next to Bjorn.
Yeah, their horses are holding form. Just my little day out Saturday, looking at the horses in the mounting yard. The 2-year-old that won the first looked enormous. A 2-year-old that's getting some, sort of probably been through, getting as much work as some of these older horses and racing, and yeah, they're just getting these horses.
They're doing it at both ends. They got 2-year-olds off like just unlimited amounts. They place them really well. Like they sent Gin Spirit Blue Diamond Day to Adelaide and won the Cinderella.
Yeah.
Tantris dead heated with that horse that won on Saturday. They held it back from the Blue Diamond withstood the temptation, took it to a nice race at Flemington, did the job. And then you got the Marble Archers and the Here to Shocks and the Rise at Dawns that are just improving with each preparation.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
They're not one-dimensional.
They're in the zone. They're in the zone, absolutely. So, which goes a long way to, I mean, why wouldn't Mr. Brightside, repeat after his first two efforts?
Mm.
He almost has to, and he's having a preparation where he's not going to run 2,000 meters. And he's not getting, he's getting ridden properly. He's been ridden, beautifully his first two starts. So, there's no reason why he can't have another one.
The thing we do know is Tom Kitten is going to be shorter than it should be.
Yeah, spot on.
Mm.
Yeah,
you watch it soften from Wednesday to Saturday.
Mm.
It'll go up about $6 or $7, be my guess, and it'll start 12 or 13.
They might be. I tell you what. They're lucky that Sheikh Mohammed's not superstitious.
Well, he's something. I think he's off Australia. Where's the next Hartnell and Cascadian? Where
Boys, it's been a pleasure. I'm off to my next podcast.
Oh,
we might take that as a sign, boys. They're all dropping off. That's been Just a Walk. Thanks. Episode we don't know. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll endeavour to bring it back to you as soon as possible. Maybe next week. Maybe next month. If you do want to sponsor the show and get around it, as you can tell, if we like you, we'll pound it out. We will really get it around you. Did I mention how well the Hayes boys are going? And did I mention that we have White Bear available right now? 1 million spent English digital, 2 million return. JONO, Jono at themailbag.com.au. Gamble responsibly, 1-800-858-858, or visit the website. Have a phenomenal week. Enjoy the footy and the racing, and bye for now.